In the final part, we will examine projects that were primarily defensive in nature, conceived as Japan faced imminent defeat. Let us take a closer look. Type 1 Honai 2. The Type 1 Honai 2 was a self-propelled anti-tank gun based on the Type 97 Chi-Ha chassis and manufactured by Mitsubishi, armed with a 105mm howitzer. Approximately 60 units were produced by 1945, making it one of the most widely mass-produced Japanese self-propelled anti-tank guns of the Second World War. Type 3 Honai 3. An upgraded variant of the Type 1, the Type 3 Honai 3 was developed by Hitachi Limited in early 1944, featuring a fully enclosed fighting compartment and armed with a 75mm anti-tank gun. With a combat weight of up to 17 tons, and nevertheless retained good mobility. A total of 31 units were produced. However, due to Japan's surrender, these self-propelled anti-tank guns never saw combat. Type 95 Giro. In 1940, Japan began designing a new self-propelled anti-tank gun based on a modified Type 95 Rogo chassis, a vehicle that itself never entered production. Owing to its large size, the design was capable of mounting the 105mm Type 92 field gun, with the engine positioned at the front of the hull and a fully enclosed fighting compartment at the rear. However, development and construction were halted around early 1943. Chi-2SP. The design of this assault self-propelled anti-tank gun was based on the chassis of the Chi-2 medium tank and was intended to be armed with a 2,000 gun capable of engaging most contemporary armored vehicles. However, due to concerns over reliability, as well as the emergence of the more promising Shiri suspension system, the project was cancelled at the conceptual design stage. Hori 2. The Hori 2 was an experimental self-propelled anti-tank gun based on the Chiri medium tank platform. Its primary purpose was the destruction of enemy armor, and it was therefore designed to mount a powerful 105mm anti-tank gun. The vehicle was also expected to retain a relatively high degree of mobility. However, delays in the development of the Kiri meant that engineers were unable to complete a Hori 2 prototype before the end of the Second World War. In 1943, while raw materials were still available, Japanese engineers began studying the Type 5 Kari heavy self-propelled anti-tank gun. Armed with a 127mm gun, it was intended to be capable of destroying any American tank and to serve effectively in coastal defense roles. However, development began too late, and no prototypes were ever constructed. Hori-I. The Hori-I was a variant of the Chiri-based self-propelled anti-tank project, featuring the engine mounted at the front of the hull and the fighting compartment positioned at the rear. Hori 3. The Hori 3 was the most resource-intensive variant of the Hori project, envisioned to be armed with a 149mm naval gun and protected by sloped armor up to 300mm thick. Needless to say, Japan never possessed the resources required to bring this monstrous design from paper to the battlefield.